Okay, good night, everyone. Here I am with the drum god itself.
It says right there on the screen, Drum God.
And it's true. The
I
drum,
wrote that. I wrote it.
but you deserve it. I would write the same. So first of all, thank you, Mike, for being here. As I said, it's a huge pleasure. I mean, today I really want to talk about you, your career, and dig into the everything. Okay, you've been like a hero for me and for many others. And let me tell you something before we start.
Okay.
The first time I saw you, it was on Holland. You were opening for Tarja, and I was in a band. It was many years ago, and I remember you were building your drum set since the early afternoon. You didn't have like a roadie or something. And I watched you. I said, this guy is a hard worker, and I respect him a lot. You were working like 6 hours before building the kit, and then you played an amazing show. So thanks for being here, and
Thank you.
please.
Well, when I started out with Tati, it was in the beginning of her solo career. They didn't have the money to buy too many technicians. So I said, okay, I'll set up my drums. I had a smaller drum set. Keeps me out of trouble.
I still remember with all the cymbals coming from up, and in the beginning I thought you were the roadie, so I wanted to ask you, and then I said, oh, because you had the tomahawk back then, you remember? So I was like, dude, he's building the drums, and I remember I was like drinking beers because I would go to play the day afterwards, so we just had fun. And I remember you working there and working. I said,
working.
Yeah, this is a lesson. Yeah, it's for me, because I wanted to be a professional drummer. So what doing it all, I was like, okay, this is the next time. Make sure you do everything.
This goes out to all the drummers out there. Once a drummer, always a roadie.
You always build your drum set in the usually, right?
Many times. It's nice to have someone help you out, though, if you're doing a long tour. But I remember I played the London Drum Show maybe about 10 years ago, and Terry Bozzio was there, and he had a technician. I know Terry a little bit, and he had this guy from Holland with all of his cymbals, that drum set that he plays with, 6 bass drums or whatever. He put on some gloves. He got down on his hands and knees, and he put down every DW pedal on the carpet. And when I saw that, I said, well, if Terry Bozzio can set up his drums, I guess I can too, because he's a lot better than I am, than I will ever be.
I didn't know he was doing that too.
Yeah, Terry, man, he doesn't care. He's like a drum fanatic. He's like making little parts for everything, and he's just a total freak. That's why he's so great. He pays attention to all the details.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, when I talk about Mike Terrana, you turned 61 this year, right? Am I right? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. 61.
So you took many generations. It's really interesting because every one of them knows you for something. Some people know you for Malmsteen. Some people know you for the symphonic drum thing. Yeah. I know you for the Kiko Loureiro No Gravity record. It's fucking one of my favorite records. You played so great. I love it so much. And many of my students know you because of the YouTube stuff. So
that's funny.
So it's really interesting because you've been able to took them, for different parts, different eras. So I want to start asking you a couple of questions, because you've been here with me already like 10 years ago or something. And I know your story is really interesting, but I wanted to start you I know you didn't come from a musical family, right? And your parents were not really into you playing drums. Can you talk about this a little?
Yeah, okay. Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to play. Originally, I wanted to play guitar. I was listening to the Rolling Stones and stuff like that. And then I remember telling my uncle I was interested in playing the drums. And my cousin had a drum set. So one day he brought over this white marine pearl Slingerland drum set, Radio King, which is probably very valuable today. And he set it up in the garage, and I sat down and just laid down a beat. I was 8 years old, and that was the start of it. That's how it started. I didn't take any lessons. I just used to play the Beatles records or Creedence Clearwater records. When I was about 16, I started getting back into the drums because I was listening to Kiss and Rush, bands like that, Led Zeppelin. And when I was about 16, I thought to myself, I think I want to do this for a living, but I don't dare tell anybody, because when 1976, there was no such thing as I'm going to be a rock star. That wasn't a normal job. There was no MTV. There was no nothing. And I remember talking to my parents, and they're like, you can't do that. And I was like, yes, I can. I held up the album cover, and I was like, look at these guys. These guys are doing it. They're making money. They have a record deal. Little did I know they were probably all living off their girlfriends. They all had jobs.
Yeah.
But, when you're a kid, you're naive and you have this dream. So, I was listening to Rainbow, Cozy Powell, Tommy Aldridge with Pat Travers. I was into all this heavy drumming, and I thought, I have to do this for a living. But my father was a pharmacist, and he did not understand what I wanted to do with my life. He said, you cannot make your hobby your job. But I said, yes, I can. When you're 16, it's like, yes, I can do this. I can make a living. You don't know what you're talking about. What do you know, old man? So, it's funny. I read an interesting quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, find something you love to do, and you'll never work a day in your life.
That's true.
And that's true. So I've been okay, you have to have some luck. This is a hard business, that's for sure. It's even harder now than it was 40 years ago. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely kept me happy and vibrant, sexy.
And you look like...
Why are you laughing?
No, because you don't look like you're 61. That's the power of music.
I look like I'm 59.
No, no, you always been like a tough guy. I remember always like muscles, always at the gym, and you kept a good shape. You still,
but I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. I played a lot of sports in school. Like I played ice hockey. That was a pretty brutal game. I played American football until I was getting beat up every day because everybody got bigger. I wasn't big enough to play football, but ice hockey was my game because I used to ice skate. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I could ice skate down the middle of my street in the winter. So I played sports, but to be a tough guy,
you look like
sorry. A lot of people. It's funny when I'm in the airport and stuff. I always get extra checked because they think I'm some kind of criminal or bad boy. And I'm like, I'm a musician. Oh, you are? Yeah. Okay. Where are you going? I'm going to do a show.
Okay. So and then they change the attitude. Okay.
But they always check me.
Of course. So you said you were 16 and your father didn't understand it. So how did you went from there?
Well, when I was about 18, I started going to college. I have a degree in electrical engineering, believe it or not. I went to school. And I didn't. I did the work, but I really wasn't. It wasn't in my heart. You know what I mean? I went to school with guys that were, building computers at home. They were into it. Like I played drums. These guys were into computers, and of course, we need people like that too. But I wasn't that guy. But I went to school just to kind of satisfy my parents. And as soon as I graduated, I started playing drums. I played drums all through college in cover bands and stuff. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then finally, I just concentrated on the drums. From like 18 until 30, I was just practicing. I had played in a lot of bands. In 1984, I was working with a band from Toronto, Canada called Hanover Fist. They were on MCA Records. I was 23 years old when that happened. So I started touring in buses and doing touring with recording acts when I was in my early 20s. I guess you could say I had a late start, And then I saved up enough money and I moved out to Los Angeles in 1987. And I caught the tail end of the heavy metal wave, the hair bands. And that was kind of fun, actually. I remember when I moved to Los Angeles, being from Buffalo, it snows a lot. The weather is kind of harsh. And when I got out to California, it was like every day is like summer. was weird. Even Christmas was like warm. There was no snow or anything. So, and I felt like I was in the right place to make music. Finally, I thought, oh, now I'm in Los Angeles. Maybe something's going to happen now if I practice and I'm lucky. And some things did happen. I was there for 10 years.
I remember you told me like you've been like always working like you did also not only drums, but back then you were also like attacking sometimes. So you were doing like everything you could. You released like a DVD or something, but you were doing everything you could, like attacking.
Yeah. Well, when I first moved out to Los Angeles, I had to get a job. So I was always, I had a lot of nasty jobs. Actually, when I lived in New York, I was a garbage man. That was a hard job.
I remember, and people that are now checking this live, he was a garbage man. And I remember you told me you were hanging on the back of the truck, and you were hoping I will be a drummer in the cold of.
I was hanging on the back of the truck, and the only thing I was thinking about was I want to be a drummer. I want to play the drums. I pick up the garbage. I can say one thing: the job kept me in shape. And I made pretty good money, and I bought a lot of drum equipment. Some people thought I wasted the money. I wasted it on drum equipment. I thought it was a good investment. I don't care. You can never have enough drums, Rafa. You know that.
I know. Yeah, I know. Very well.
But actually, having those kind of jobs, it makes you appreciate when you start to make money playing music. It makes you appreciate the fact that you can make a living from music, because it could always be a lot worse. Trust me.
Exactly. This is what I always say to people. And I believe actually the fact that you did so many jobs made you the drummer you are, because you were always able to, play with a band, but having your own name, being able to do the band, the clinics, your and this is because you did many jobs, I believe. Because people who only play drums, they don't have the same way of reinventing that you have.
Yeah. I think I developed a work ethic, like how to manage my time, when I had to practice, when you have to sleep. You start to learn how to appreciate money, how fast it goes out and how slow it comes in. You understand the flow of money, which is kind of scary. And I think also that it helped me to develop my own sense of style. And I was practicing a lot. I was practicing about 6 hours a day. And I'm a self-taught drummer.
While being a garbage man, you were able to practice that much?
That actually, when I was a kid. I was about 18, 19 years old. Actually, when I was that young, I did not know how to practice. Honest to God, I learned how to practice when I started learning how to teach myself and practice, like developing certain practice schedule and certain things to practice when I was in my mid to late 20s. When I was about 27 years old, I got really focused. I was living in Los Angeles, and that's when I started to practice 6 hours a day. And I still do that now. When I have time, I'll practice 6, 7 hours, no problem. You can never practice enough. You can never learn enough. Of course, I don't spend my time on one thing. I do different things, but it's fun. I would do it if nobody paid me. Yeah.
Every time I saw you playing, I always saw you playing better. The last time I saw you was like a music mess, and you played like the Eye of the Tiger intro or something like that. And I remember I said to my friends, he's always playing better. Every time I see Mike play, he's a step forward.
Thank you.
Like the tuning is even better, the timing is better, the ideas.
Thank you.
You really show the dedication you had, and especially.
There's always room for improvement. That's for sure. So I mean, right now I always look and I always see. When you do drum clinics or you go on the internet, you always see some guys that are really, really good. There's some guys out there that are really playing some amazing stuff, whether they're playing blast beats or fusion or Latin music, whatever. There's a lot of talented people in the world. So I just try to keep myself in shape, not to compete with these people. I don't believe music is a competition. I'm in competition with myself. But yeah, I think the song you might have did. I wasn't playing Eye of the Tiger. I was playing the Rocky theme song.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I like.
Sorry. Yeah,
I'm a big Sylvester Stallone fan.
exactly.
Stallone.
Stallone.
Yeah.
And another thing I remember when you were playing at this the music fair or something, there will always a famous drummer who would see you and would be like with a smile. So, oh, this is Mike. I like him playing. I remember there was a time when you playing at the music messa inside the glass booth. So
Oh yeah, in the Gava booth,
and
the cube, the fishbowl.
Exactly. Outside, there was a guy now. The name I will remember the name later. Anyway, he's a famous guy now, very famous. And he came there and he was like with the manager. Said, wait, I have to see Mike playing. Let's schedule something for 15 minutes later. And he was there and he was like with a huge respect. Yeah, and I was like, hey, the black guy. Let me remember the name. It's a minor guy. He's okay. I will anyway.
Chris
Coleman. Chris Coleman. He was there and was like, oh, Mike, I have to see Mike. I don't care. Push all my meetings 10 minutes later or 15. And
Chris Coleman is a very nice man, but he's also a genius on the drums. He's an incredible drummer. He's wild. Yeah, I like watching him. There's just so many great drummers. I mean, I never get jealous when I see somebody play drums. I like it. I like to watch it. We all do our thing. You know, some guys are blasting, some guys are playing fusion, but it's nice that other drummers want to watch or, you know, participate in what I'm doing or whatever. That's a nice compliment. But I remember there was a time when no one cared.
As I said, you've been doing everything, right? You've been doing it all. So
life is a roller coaster.
I have a question for you. When was the first time like you felt you were noticed? Because not many people know you playing with Malmsteen. I remember because not watching a video of Malmsteen and watching you with the crazy stick tricks and stuff. I said, wait a second, and I found it out many years later. So, what do you think Malmsteen got you noticed, or something like before?
Well, a little bit before that, I think when I started playing with Tony Macalpine. That's when things kind of started to open up for me as a drummer who could be a drummer's drummer, so to speak, because I was playing music from Tony's first two solo records, and the drummer on the first record was Steve Smith, and the drummer on the second record was Dean Castronovo.
Wow.
So those guys are really good drummers. So I was learning and playing that stuff, and I guess people saw me doing that and thought, hey, this guy can play that stuff. Who is he?
Wow.
Where does he live? And then I got the gig with Yngwie, and that was good for me. And of course, we did a big world tour. I was in the band for 2 years. And it was a nice experience.
And
a lot of people saw me.
Yeah. And after that, you moved to Europe, right? Or
yeah, I moved to Europe in 1997, 22 years ago.
Wow. So after Malmsteen, we would say like 3 years after Malmsteen, you decided to go to Europe. Can I ask you why you moved from US to Europe?
Yeah, well, after I was playing with Tony Macalpine before I joined Yngwie's band, and then I was with Yngwie for 2 years, and then when that ended, I came back to Los Angeles, and Tony gave me a call, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting at home staring at my television." He said, "Yeah, we should do some shows." I said, "Okay." So we started touring together as a three-piece kind of instrumental power trio. And we did some touring in Europe. And then I started to realize I went to Europe once with with Yngwie, and I liked it. And then when I started touring in Europe with Tony Macalpine, I started to realize, I like this European lifestyle. We were working a lot in Holland and Germany, Scandinavia. And I thought, I like this better. I think the lifestyle appeals to me a bit more than what's happening in Los Angeles. And the people seem to enjoy my drum style. Maybe because also I had a bit of a reputation with Yngwie being a European, Scandinavian. So in 97, we came back from the last tour with Tony Macalpine, and we decided not to do it anymore. He wanted to go on and do something else. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try Europe. So I moved to Europe with some money and a bag of cymbals, and I never came home. I never came back. I stayed in Europe.
Wow. Okay, that's so
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were always brave. Like you took this, okay, I go there, I do it, and whatever happens, happens.
I don't know if it's brave. I think it's just naive and crazy. It's like, yeah, I can, it's like when I told my father, I can make a living at this. And I'm going to go to Europe. And one of my friends said to me, do you have a gig over there? And I'll go, no. He goes, you're just going to go to Europe? I'm like, yeah. Why not? What's the worst thing that could happen? I have to come home? I never came home.
So, okay, that's cool. So many people, actually, we have some comments that we'll read afterwards.
Okay.
Said about Rage, because when you came back to Europe, the first band actually that you were into for some time were the band Rage. Am I wrong? This is the band that made you.
Yeah, Rage. Axel Rudi Pell and Rage were the first bands, German bands that I joined. Also, I was in a band called Metallium for a short time, and I was also working with Roland Grapow, the guitar player of Halloween, and I played with Gamma Ray. So Roland Grapow from Halloween introduced me into the German Hamburg power metal scene back in the late 90s. Hamburg was the epicenter for German power metal. So I met a lot of guys there, and I thank Roland Grapow for that. He's a good friend of mine. His band is Masterplan, as you well know. So he's a great player and a great guy, and he got my name around, and I had some good experiences with those guys. I played with Axel Rudi Pell for 15 years. I was in Rage for 8 years. I did a lot of touring in Europe, Russia, Japan.
And you became like very, very known also, of course, in Germany and also like in Romania, Poland. I know you are like your biggest fan base actually should be like Brazil and Romania. Yeah. There you are like very, very famous.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like playing in Latin America. I love playing in Brazil. I'm not saying that because you're Brazilian, but I really like it there. Actually, for my 60th birthday, I had 2 weeks in Florianopolis.
Opa! Okay, Florianopolis.
Fantastic. I love it. I love Brazil. I like the churrasco and the cachaça.
Yeah, I know. And you've been...
I like it.
People there, the cool thing about Brazil is that I found out, like, in Brazil, it's like people know all your career. In Italy, they know the last 10 years, I would say 15. Yeah. Brazil, they remember you always. Let me tell you something. I know your work with Kiko Loureiro because I went to play, like 15 years ago to the Batuca Festival, and one of my favorite drummers were playing Fernando Scheffer. He was playing with his own band, and then he played with Kiko, and he played the song No Gravity. And I said, wow, those drum parts are amazing. And he said, these are not mine. I had to learn basically like those songs note by note, and it's Mike Terrana. So basically he introduced me back at you, and I said, okay, wow. And then I started really digging into your kind of playing.
Pretty
and
cool.
You did everything from the complex stuff to the easy thing to the
I tried. Playing with Kiko was quite challenging because he's a Brazilian guy. He's a very good musician. He plays drums. Of course, he plays good guitar, fantastic guitar. He's also a wonderful piano player. And he introduced me to all these strange Brazilian rhythms. And I'm a gringo, so he's like, play the maracatu. This is the maracatu. I'm like, for me, maracas are the things that the Mexicans guys. So I don't know what a maracatu is. Now I do. But it is not easy to play these Brazilian rhythms because they have a certain kind of swing. You know that because you're Brazilian. But the people that live there, they have this in their blood, this kind of feeling. And it's somewhere between one and the E of one, or you know what I mean? It's moving around, and that's what makes people dance. It's cool.
It's cool.
Not easy.
No, exactly. And the cool thing that you were playing all these crazy rhythms, like double bass. It was a great record. And I always remember he said it was a very hard job, but it's one of my favorite records of a guitar player.
Thank you.
The No Gravity one.
Yeah, I like that record too. I'm quite proud of it. And I had fun making it because Kiko came to my practice room. I had my practice room in the basement of the Headbangers Ballroom on the Fish Mart in Hamburg. Yeah, my practice room was underneath a heavy metal club. And me and Kiko would go down there for a couple hours and practice and, arrange the songs. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice way to work.
Wow. Yeah. Actually, you can really feel that record took some time to be developed because even for a guitar player, it sounds not a typical guitar player album. It's like a beautiful instrumental album. So okay,
it's musical.
Yeah, let's move forward. So we said in Germany you were playing with all those bands, and you became like a power metal kind of.
Yeah.
You were not really the typical power metal guy, but you were like in the scene. And I remember, like you, when people think about you, not only about the visual, because you were able to play those shows and always stick tricks and all the crazy visuals. So my question, where these stick tricks come from? Because I'm really curious. Because you.
Well, I can tell you right now, a lot of people hate me for that.
Why? I think it's amazing.
Oh God! You know, first of all, for the younger drummers out there, you're sitting down. Everyone else is standing up in the band. They're standing in front of you. Okay, you're in the back. Sometimes you're not on a riser. They don't turn the lights on. So you try to find some way to reach the audience, especially if you're doing a drum solo. It's not easy to hold the attention of the audience because you're already at a disadvantage. You're sitting down, you're in the back. And so I started to develop these tricks. Basically, I was doing it out of, I wouldn't say boredom, but a lot of times if you're just playing a straight groove, I started, well, you know, I can do something here, you know, and it was fun. It feels good. I don't know. I like it. You know, of course, if you can't do it without messing up the groove, then don't do it. But I've had some guys, some band members say to me, yeah, that's all you do is throw and twirl, you know, you're just to show off and blah, blah, blah.
They are jealous because people were paying a ticket to see you. I remember when I saw the Tarja gig, I was so happy because, you know, you were, this is what people should understand. You are like a touring drummer and you make a show. It's not only about the music. You are performing. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
well, all of my idols, Carl Palmer, Neil Peart, Terry Bozzio, Tommy Aldridge, Cozy Powell, these guys, they do a show. Lee Kerslake, the drummer for Uriah Heep, he just passed away. God bless his soul. He's a fantastic drummer and a sweet man. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. All these guys had this kind of powerful. They did some stick twirling. When I saw Tommy Aldridge, I saw him play with Pat Travers in 1977.
Wow!
It was like someone slapped me across the face and said, "That's a drummer," and I was like, "Yeah." That's a drummer, Tommy Aldridge. And I'm proud to say that I know Tommy Aldridge. After I left Yngwie, he played with Yngwie, and so did Cozy Powell, actually. Those two guys played after I was in the band, my idols. So it's just nice to be able to talk to Tommy Aldridge, shake hands with him, and take a picture with him, whatever, because when I was a kid, he was like a god. He still is a god to me, really. He's a fantastic showman. Excellent timing, powerful. And I mean, I think that's, if you're going to play rock drum, if you're a rock drummer, I think that's what you should do. But sometimes the people standing in front, I don't know, they get some kind of problem with that. Why is everyone looking at that guy in the back? Is he making fun of me? No, I'm twirling the sticks. Oh yeah, what are you, in the circus? Yeah, it is a circus. You've been on a tour bus. That's a circus, man. Yeah, 2 months of circus.
That's a real circus.
Go on.
No, I said, I believe even if some people complain, of course, complain because they have a drummer and people would recognize the drummer. Actually, I remember I recognized you from building the drums. Like, yeah,
people knew my drums.
How iconic you are. You were building like on the side of the stage with a tomahawk. And I said, okay, wait. This is my Terrana. Because unless the roadie has the tomahawk too, but I guess.
I have to be honest with you. Many times when I was in Rage, I was building my own drums because I couldn't find someone to remember how to put them together.
Wow.
I'm not joking. You know, a lot of these guys, they're smoking weed and they've got the short-term memory of a house plant. It's like they're putting I train the guy. I put colored tape on everything. Go, good. This is how it goes together. The next day, everything's backwards. I'm like, okay. So I start helping the guy, and then the band. I go back in the dressing room, and the band is like, "Why should we pay this guy? You were setting up the drums." I said, "I had to help him. He couldn't remember."
Unbelievable.
I am a genius.
Yeah, you are. You are.
My drums are too complicated. No, I'm kidding. But the drum set it's a bit complicated, but I mean, it's not rocket science. Come on, it's a couple of stands.
But you know, sometimes with people who work in this business, they are really short-term memory. Especially if they smoke too much, they just get too much. Yeah. And we know, and many people know that. So let's keep going with your career. We said Rage had a huge impact on you, and I remember, on the audience, and Axel Rudi Pell. I say Rage because Axel Rudi Pell was not so famous in Italy. I know he was very big in Germany, but in Italy, were bigger than he.
Yeah.
He's like an Yngwie Malmsteen for Germany, right? Because in Germany, he's huge.
I guess so.
Yeah.
People like his songs. He's writing kind of really simple, catchy songs, and the fan base that he has it's an older fan base. The people still buy the records. They're very loyal, and he's very successful.
How many years you play with him? Let's say you said 15, right?
15 years, yeah.
Wow.
A long time.
I'm checking here. Okay, back in 1998, you had already your solo record. Am I right? Because I'm checking on Wikipedia because I know many things about you, but it's like too much. Like
I did a fusion record, kind of like a Simon Phillips kind of a protocol record. I had saxophone on it and stuff. I love Simon Phillips, by the way, and I was inspired by his music. So I thought, oh, I should make a record like that. I like fusion. I like Billy Cobham and all those guys. Return to Forever, Lenny White, Tony Williams. I grew up on all that kind of 70s fusion. So I made a fusion record. But when I got to Europe, nobody wanted to hear that fusion record. They wanted me to go power metal, and I was like, oh, okay, back to power metal. It's a completely different scene. In Los Angeles, there was no power metal. Grunge had came in, Pearl Jam and Nirvana came in and just blew all the hair bands away.
Okay, but you were in Germany playing power metal, the best place in the world to do that, and for many years, like you stayed in Germany, right?
Yeah, I lived in Germany for 10 years.
Okay, and back then you were also doing drum clinics back then, right?
I was doing some drum clinics. I never really imagined myself doing drum clinics. I'm a self-taught drummer. I remember one time I was doing a clinic in France at a music school, and I was writing stuff on the blackboard. I was showing some stuff about odd groupings. They were going to school for music, but they were not familiar with odd groupings. And I was kind of like, wow, this is weird. I'm a self-taught drummer. These guys are paying to go to college, and I'm telling them about odd groupings.
Yeah,
because I'm an odd man. That's why.
Yeah, so it can be, but also for being a self-taught drummer, you don't look like one. I mean, so many things the way you play. I mean, you had a lot of experience, like the real one, recordings, the old days, like when you had to play, like from beginning to end, right?
Yeah.
So you know that.
I remember making records on tape. I made vinyl records. But I remember when you record on a 2-inch Studer machine, you can't punch in. It's very difficult to punch drums. You play one take completely all the way through, and then the producer will say, okay, that's a good take. Now put up the other reel of tape, same song, play it again. And so you would do 2 takes for each song, in some cases. And you had to play the whole song with expression and feeling all the way through. That's why when you listen to the records from the 70s, if you listen to some complicated fusion records, think about those men playing on those records. They played in real time. Listen to the Steely Dan Asia record. Those guys recorded live on tape. They're playing. There's no Pro Tools. There's no auto-tune. There's no samplers. No, they played. And it's good.
Also, when you made one of your last DVDs, in the beginning, you said, okay, this is a DVD where I played everything from beginning to end. You really, because I remember you were one of the guys speaking out about your opinion about the modern production.
Yeah.
So
I made that record, the Rhythm Beast, that DVD. I made it because I had made so many records with Rage, and near the middle to the end of my career with Rage, they started working with Pro Tools. Okay, and then you didn't hear the music; you could see the music. All the waveforms were there on the computer, and I was like, "Wow, what's going on here?" And then they started quantizing my drumming. And I was like, why are you doing that? I mean, the whole idea is to have a little bit of slip and slide. If you listen to a Led Zeppelin record, the bass player and the drummer, they're moving, but they're moving together because they know how to play together. It's not quantized. Okay. So I thought to myself, you know what? I want to record these songs and I want to play them live with no samples and just play them live in one take. To prove it to myself. I actually did it for myself, just to prove that I could still play one song completely without being punched in and corrected and edited.
Yeah, because you never learn to play unless you really do the old way. It's so important. Like,
I think it's important.
Yeah,
I think it's important. Yeah.
You did, yeah. And as I said, I remember you like doing interviews back then before like all this crappy drum editing now like these days, because I can't like hear today's records. I think I can't. They are too boring for me because they are. Yeah, all the records today. Yeah, they sound all the same. And I remember you speaking about it like 10 to 15 years ago, and it wasn't that bad as it's now. But I remember because you were starting to hear, especially the power metal guys, the metal guys, they wanted everything perfect. And so they started basically taking out the soul from the records.
The personality of the drummer. I mean, in the 70s, if you were a drummer, I could put on a record and you'd be like, that's Stuart Copeland. I can hear the snare drum. Or that's Bill Bruford. I hear that snare drum. That's Alex Van Halen. But now, everyone's got the same samples on their drums. Who's who? Actually, I won't say who it is. I've done some power metal records, and there was a different drummer before I joined. And I was in a club, and somebody was playing the record, and they're like, "That's you." And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's me or if it's the other guy.
Yeah, I can't even recognize myself. Yeah.
Could be the other guy. I don't know. It's just the same snare sample with the same kick sample. It's not me. Could be him. Could be me. Who knows? Because they just pasteurized it. I mean, the thing is about Pro Tools, it's a wonderful tool, a digital technology. There's a lot of beautiful things you can do. However, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Just because something is perfect doesn't mean it's good. The human feeling, the emotion inside the music. It's very, very important. I mean, if you go back and listen to the Pink Floyd records, listen to Van Halen 1. And man, those guys are playing, man. It's just like in your face power. Listen to the early Rush records. That's real. And that's why it still stands the test of time. There's no samples. That's really Neil Peart, his tuning, his style. It's beautiful. I want to hear that.
I have a question about, as you said, so you moved to Germany, and I remember after you left Rage and before Tarja, what happened? Because I remember Tarja was a great combination, you and Tarja. I guess you both it was a very nice way to promote both.
Yeah, I enjoyed that situation. Actually, I've known Tarja for quite a long time because when I was in Rage, I did one tour. The first tour was for the Ghosts album, but I didn't play on it. The other drummer, Efty, the original drummer of Rage, he played on it. So I just did the tour. And the opening act was Nightwish. And after they toured with us, they just took off. So that's where I first met Tarja, and she was quite young then, and just starting out in this rock and roll crazy rock and roll business. So I had known her from that. I just used to say hello. I really didn't have that much contact with the guys in Nightwish at that time. You know, everybody was just kind of doing their thing. But after I left Rage, things got just a bit complicated after 8 years. There was just some mentality differential. You know, you had a Russian guy, a German guy, and an American guy. It was kind of strange. Sometimes we didn't quite understand each other, but I decided.
I know.
Yeah, it's complicated. You know, when you work with people from different parts of the world, you grow up in a different system, and you kind of have to respect and understand that. We tried, but eventually it came to an end. And I was sitting at home. I was living in Denmark at the time, in Copenhagen, and I got a phone call one day, and it was like, "Yeah, do you want to play on Tadia's solo tour?" And I didn't even know she had a solo record out. And then they sent me some of the songs. That was the Winter Storm record. And I really liked it. I thought it wasn't like Nightwish. It was a different style of music. I thought, this is pretty cool. And that's how it started. I was with Tadia for 8 years. And I really enjoyed that situation, except the last year was not so nice. But everything else was really nice. It was good.
Okay. And she basically took your name again, like in the scene. And I remember because you were like doing the Beauty and the Beast shows.
Yeah.
The orchestra. I remember you played the orchestra.
Yes, this was my idea because I wanted to do a tribute to Cozy Powell. So I ended up, Cozy Powell used to do the 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky in his drum solo. And when I saw that, I never saw a heavy metal drummer play classical music before. That kind of freaked me out. So I thought, wow, this guy's really cool. And so when Cozy, unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident, and I didn't see too many people doing a tribute to Cozy Powell. And I thought maybe I can do something. We have YouTube now. So I recorded the 1812 Overture. I played some parts like Cozy did. And then, of course, I threw in my own stuff because I'm not Cozy Powell, unfortunately. I wish I was, but I'm not. That started me to formulate the plan to make a record called Symphonica, which was all classical music. So I played drums to 11 classical pieces. I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot about classical music, and I learned about myself. I learned about my limitations, let's say. And it's not easy to play along to this classical stuff. You know, you can destroy it if you play if you play too heavy. You have to be tasteful. So anyway, that record came out. It was out for maybe about 8 months and stuff. And one day I was talking to Tadia's manager, and I said, why don't we do something with the orchestra? I can play this classical stuff, and Tadia sings opera and stuff, and we could do a package. And he goes, yeah, what should we call it? So why don't we call it Beauty and the Beat? Of course, I'm the beat. She was beautiful. She is beautiful. I'm the beat. So that's what happened there. And that's how that started. And we did a lot of shows. We did a lot of shows in Russia. And I have to tell you, it was probably the highlight of my career. I had a lot of fun. Because I could dress up as Mozart. I could be crazy.
I remember you were not only playing drums, but you were a part of the show itself.
Yeah, it was kind of like doing some acting. I was doing some singing. I sang a Sinatra song. I mean, if somebody told me 20 years ago, yeah, someday you're going to be on stage wearing a suit and you're going to sing Fly Me to the Moon, I'd be like, no way. I would have never thought about that, but it was a lot of fun, I have to say.
Okay, yeah, I remember watching the videos,
yeah,
and we're like, wow, as I said, I was able to see at least 20 years of your career, back and forth always. And I remember each time you made a step, I was there and said, okay, he's a smart guy, especially you started touring. I have a USB pen here, and
Future.
Yeah, you were selling a USB pen with a record like 12 years ago.
Well, the CD technology pretty much died out. Now there's not even USB. The music just flies into your phone. You know, you think about that. I'm from the 60s and 70s. I would have never imagined that music and video would fly into this little box. Think about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, young kids today, they just open up their phone like, I'm going to download some video and music, or I'm going to have a phone call. I remember we used to have the phone with the dial, and it had a cord, remember? And you have to...
Yeah, when I was a kid, actually calling my family in Brazil was very complicated and very expensive.
Yeah, it's just crazy to make a phone call or whatever. And I remember I was having a conversation with a person that was half my age last week. And I said to the person, I remember that I used to have to get up. We had a television with 3 channels, and you had to change the channel manually. And this person was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you had to get up and change the channel. And I remember my parents would always be like, Mike, change the channel. So I had to get up and do it. That's why you had kids, give them stuff to do. Go take out the garbage, change the channel on the TV. Now we have the remote control. Everything's remote control. But it's just amazing how things have changed. And technology.
You were always into like technology, because I remember you were editing your own drum videos for a while. You were doing like videos of your brother Bob Terrana. You were always taking care of your stuff. I remember you told me one thing once. I still remember. You told me you had your own MacBook, and you said, "You see, this gave back power to us musicians, because I am able to do everything by myself. I don't have to pay somebody else to do that."
True. I remember making a couple of videos back in the 80s. No, sorry, in the 90s. It was, you had to spend 10 or 15,000 euros to shoot an instructional video, and that was cheap. Now you can grab your phone and make a video and upload it, and it goes all over the world. That was not possible 25 years ago. It was impossible. Actually, it was not even thought about. If you wanted to make a recording, you had to go to a recording studio. That was 300 to 400 euros of dollars a day. Plus you had to buy the tape, the reel-to-reel tape, the 2-inch tape. That was like a couple $100. You had to have an engineer. Now it's like this machine that I'm talking to you on right now, everything is in the machine. It's crazy.
And it's crazy that the way you adapt to it, because you see it in a positive way. You say, I am able to do it by myself. I can take care of my own business. I can take care of my videos and stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain sense of freedom and responsibility that comes with that. It's a lot more work now. If you're a musician today, you basically have to do everything. You manage yourself, you make your own videos, you record yourself, you promote yourself. I liked it back in the day when there was record companies and they would give you money to go out on the road. They would give you money to make a record. They'd put you in the magazines. There are no more magazines. The magazines are dying. Everything is on this digital platform now. So I have to tell you, as a 61-year-old man, I'm constantly trying to update myself and learn and use the new technology to go further, to survive. I think if you don't, you're going to be left out.
Wow. Yeah, I always respected you for many reasons, but this is one of them.
Thank you.
You were always updating, and this shows like a big open mind, because you don't complain. You say, okay, things are like this. Because I know some drummers from your era, they complain about how it is now. But if you complain, nothing changes. Try to do something, because you cannot fight the board. You cannot change the waves.
There's something to be said for evolution. I think in the world of heavy metal, it's a bit of a plateau. It's not changing. It's like, why did you change? Why did you do that? I remember when I was playing with Rage and I cut my hair into a mohawk. They were like, why? Why? You have to have the long hair. I said, why? Why do I have to look like that? Why do I have to do? Why do we all have to look like we're from a cookie cutter? We're all clones. Where's your personality? Where's your inspiration or your image? Your own image, your own voice. I think it's important, but definitely evolution is a very, very important thing, especially now because things are moving very fast. I think we're more dependent now on the internet than ever, and I think it's a very important tool. It's a necessary tool. And I think if you're like, well, I'm waiting for the old days to come back, I want a record deal and make a CD. It's like, well, you might be waiting a long time because I don't think it's coming back.
Okay, I have a question for you. I can see from your DVDs that there's actually, I know the double bass mechanics was pretty good. But I see here you have a beginning rock drums DVD. I never saw it.
was a beginning rock drums VHS video.
Sorry, VHS. Yeah,
That was
1995.
Yeah, that was on Starlix, and I was looking for a video deal because I wanted to make double bass mechanics, and they were like, "Well, let's start with this. Let's do something for kids." And I was like, "Okay." So I did it, and the people at the company were very nice, the Starlix people. We also did a video with Tony Macalpine at the time too. That got a chance to play some crazy double bass stuff, but that was a pretty good company at the time. But I remember VHS, cassette tapes, vinyl, 8-track. That's all gone.
It's on YouTube. I will check it because I didn't know about it. I will check it. Rock drums with MIKE TERRANA. I will check it later.
Yeah, watch it. You'll learn how to count 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's always a nice way to see how people do it.
Rafa, let me tell you something. If you have trouble sleeping, put that on. After 5 minutes, you'll be in a coma.
I will check it. I will see.
So good way to go to sleep.
I have another question for you. So you were in Germany playing heavy metal, and you will be with Tarja, and suddenly somebody says, "Okay, MIKE TERRANA is living in Italy." I said, "What?" Yeah, he's living in Italy. I said, wait, this should be a rumor. And you moved to Tuscany.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, it was after Tarja, I guess, right?
No, it was during. I was still working with Tarja at the time.
Okay, because I remember, I thought for a period you started really doing a lot of clinics. In the Tarja period, I remember you were doing like clinics, explanations, and demonstrations for bigger brands. Like at some moment you were like switching from the band thing to your own thing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I was doing some solo stuff, and then I was still playing with Axel Rudi Pell, and I was playing with Tarja, doing sessions and stuff. But my father is from Sicily.
Okay.
Both my parents are Italian. My mother's from Abruzzo. My mother's family is from Abruzzo, and my father's family is from Sicily, Agrigento. So, yeah, I got an opportunity to live in Italy, and I thought, why not? You know, I have Italian blood. I'm a second generation Italian American, but I thought, why not move to Italy and see how it is? And I enjoyed Tuscany. It's a nice lifestyle. I was living near the beach. I love the beach. You know, coming from Buffalo, New York, we have a lot of snow.
So you moved to Italy, and how many years you been now in Italy?
11 years.
Wow. Okay, 11 years. And I remember you did clinics all over it. No, in the north of Italy. You did clinics in Tuscany, Milano. You were playing with Geva. Sorry, Geva Drums made you like the top endorser of a band called Drumcraft.
Yeah, Drumcraft. Yeah, that was a Geva brand.
A step for your career because they really promote you a lot.
Yeah, that was a nice thing. They had seen me play at the Meinl Drum Festival at the time, and they had invited me to help them promote their new line of drums called Drumcraft, which were made in China, which is where the PDP drums. That's why I play PDP, because I'm friends with the people at the factory in China. Have you ever been to the factory there?
No. I was invited to check China, but I will hopefully. When this is over, go there.
It's really nice. It's really interesting, and the people are very kind. And that's why I still play the PDP drums, because it's made in the same factory.
Yeah, I know that because I was a Drumcraft endorser.
Yes, I remember.
After when basically DW and PDP they said, okay, Drumcraft will not exist anymore. We'll offer you a DW and PDP. And I remember, and I was like, really think about it. I was thinking about it, but I didn't have as much friends as you have in the company, because I know my art illustrator left, so basically I didn't know anybody from the German guys, and I got an offer from Kama and I moved. But I remember Drumcraft, they really promote you a lot, and it was really because they made your drum videos, they made the special edition drums.
Yeah, they made me some really beautiful custom stuff, and it was a great time. That was a lot of fun. I was still working with Ruben Steinhauser. Do you know Ruben? he's doing he's working for DW as well, and Geva, and PDP, and he's he was working for Audi in the automotive industry. He's a very intelligent guy and a mechanical engineer. So he's designing the PDP pedals and all these other hardware. We were working on hardware for Drumcraft, which ended up being the PDP Concept Series hardware, which I like. I really like. I really like PDP. I know it's not the most expensive brand of drums. You know, I have a lot of drums in my storage locker that are very expensive, but I think the PDP.
What are drums, and how many drums do you have?
Yeah. I probably have about 100 drum kits in various drum storage lockers all over the world. I never sell my drums. I never sell. I keep everything.
You have some drums in Germany, I guess, some drums in...
Drums in Germany, drums in Los Angeles, some drums here in Italy. I collect also. I collect some crazy stuff. I have a lot of Premier drum kits.
I remember you were endorsed by Premier, right? The yellow kit, the double bass. The kit was a Premier one. The
Premier?
Double bass mechanics was a yellow.
Oh, that was a Maple Sonar kit. I was endorsed by Sonar for a very short time, but I enjoy those drums. I have one Sonar Designer Series drum set. It's a white sparkle. Beautiful drum set. I have that still out in Los Angeles. I played that when I was working with Tony Macalpine. And I have a lot of beautiful Premier drum sets. Actually, I met Nico McBrain, the drummer for Iron Maiden. And I told him, it was when I first moved to Germany, and I said, Roland Grapow was in Halloween, and Halloween used to open up for Iron Maiden. So I was backstage with Roland at an Iron Maiden show. And I met Nico, and he knew who I was because he heard a record that I played on with a band called Artension. Do you know this band, Artension? Kind of a progressive, kind of Dream Theater type band. And anyway, he heard this record. He goes, I know you. I like your drum. Oh, thank you. And then I said to him, Nico, I don't want to bother you or anything, because he was playing Premier at the time. I said, I'm trying to contact the artist relations person at Premier, and I would like to start to play their drums. I'd like to start a relationship with the company because it was a European company. And he said, you know what, let me give him a call and I'll get back to you. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. He's Nico McBrain, right? He's on tour with Iron Maiden. So I was living in Holland at the time. And about 2 days later, I get a phone call, and it's Nico. And he's in the bus. I hear the tour bus in the background. He's like, all right, Mike, just call Premier, call the Andy Laidlaw, the artist relations. Everything is sorted out. So I called Andy Laidlaw, the artist relations guy at Premier at the time, and I got everything I needed. And I was with Premier for 10 years. So thank you, Nico McBrain. God bless you. He's a great guy. Very cool.
Cool story.
Yeah, so, very nice man. Very helpful.
Said you came to Italy, and this summer I was watching like pictures of you at the beach, and somewhere you tagged like you were in Sardinia. So I was like, wow, this is so cool, because the world isn't that big. And I'm so, actually, of course, I'm sure everybody welcome you to our island, because they are really welcome people. So did you end up coming to Sardinia? Tell me more. Are you wishing to stay when all this is over, or is it a temporary place to go? What's your...
Well, okay, now we're in this quarantine lockdown thing, and there's no touring. And I thought, well, why not live in Sardinia? Why, if I'm off the road, why not live in a place that's basically a paradise?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. I'm by the sea. The water is blue. It's quiet. I really like, when I'm not playing the drums, I like to be quiet. So I really appreciate riding my bike. I like swimming. There's some guys here that are surfers. Maybe I take some surfing lessons. So while I'm off the road, try something new.
I took surf lessons this year too, because I wanted to. It's like a dream. I wanted to do it. So after the first quarantine, I was like, okay, I will do this before I die. I want to go surf. So I started doing what I wanted to do. It's
not easy, is it?
No, but it's very cool. It's because
Can you do it? Are you surfing?
Yeah.
Really? I'm gonna try. I can't ride a skateboard, so I'll try.
Right. So let me read a couple of comments.
Okay.
There's a couple of Brazilian guys.
Oh, cachaça.
Yeah, that's what they wrote. Cachaça. De música batera as 20 palmas. Grande Terrana, meu ídolo. I said there's many Brazilian guys who said Dino Verdade assistiu Terrana no último world show dele que ele fez em Brasília. Show. Yeah, everybody who saw you live, they remember it. So there's a guy saying, first time I heard Mike, it was with Rage. Gods of Metal 2004, still mind blown. I mean, 15 years later. So imagine how much people know.
Yeah, I remember Gods of Metal.
Yeah, the perfect name for a festival, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
A lot of people saying hi. So we were talking about your Sinfonica records. How many years did you do with touring with Sinfonica, your own thing? I remember it was a couple. It was a kind of a big tour. You did it for a couple of years.
I did like a lot of solo shows. They weren't really clinics. They were just like a performance, you know. I mean, sometimes these clinics are only for drummers, you know. So I wanted to do something where I could just play music for people, and everybody knows these classical songs. They're 300-year-old hits. They're big hits. So, you know, it was nice to go out there and play that stuff. And then, of course, with Tadia, I got a chance to promote the CD a bit more.
Because as I said, I remember it was like a couple of years you did this, and it was going very well. Actually, I was surprised that you kind of quitted it because it was so cool. You stopped touring with the Sinfonica thing. Because or kind of you were playing other stuff too, I can imagine. Because I was but at some point I was expecting, like, you know, I wish you play there because you became like not known for that, but I was expecting it. But then you switched to playing the theme songs.
I'm not quite sure what you're saying. You mean you wanted to hear some heavy metal stuff, or I was only playing the classical stuff? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble to hear you.
I said I was really happy to see you playing the classical songs. So when you switched to the theme songs, I was surprised because everybody wanted you to play the classical stuff. So you were really at some point you said, okay, no, we change, or so, because I remember you were not playing these anymore. What happened? If you decided.
Well, sometimes you have to change things up a little bit. You can't just beat a horse to death. You know what I mean? If you do a tour with the classical songs, then you need to add some other songs the next time you come around. It's like, oh, we saw this already. Yeah. Well, that's all this guy can do.
Yeah. No, you were doing way more. We have a question about the PV drums. What's that?
PV. Yeah, I played PV. I was an endorser of PV drums. Have you ever seen what they look like?
No.
Really crazy. Google it. Google the PV drums. There's no hardware on the shells. They're all made out of wood. And it really sounded good. Good drum set. I have two PV drum sets in my storage locker. And I like the drums. They just look strange. In America, people thought the drums were ugly. But when I brought them to Europe, the European audience thought they looked beautiful.
Okay, I'm seeing them.
Yeah, they're kind of strange looking instrument, but the idea behind it was to have a very thin shell, and then the bearing edges where the lugs were like a thick wooden hoop. You've seen these drums before, but that's PV. And I've been to the PV factory in Meridian, Mississippi. They basically own the whole town. They have their own factory. They have their own theater, video complex. It's amazing. PV is actually quite an amazing company. They make, you know, the 150 amplifiers for Eddie Van Halen and stuff. So
yeah, cool. I mean, you've been endorsed by basically every company, right?
Some people have called me a whore. You know, the thing is, I don't like to change companies, but I mean, when you play drums for a long time, sometimes the companies have trouble. I don't like to move around that much, but yeah, I've played a lot of different brands of drums, and I've played a lot of different brands of cymbals, and I have to say I liked all of them. In most cases, the departure was more of a business-oriented maneuver than it was about the product itself. You know, I never said, this product is garbage, I have to go. It wasn't like that. It was like, you know, there's the endorsement angle of the drumming business, it's a kind of a business. You get certain things from that, certain things I needed to move the drums around when you go on tour. A lot of people think, oh, you have an endorsement, you just order a bunch of stuff for free and then sell it. No, you can't do that. You have a contract, as you well know, and then you get a certain amount of things, or they'll do certain things for you, whether they do clinics or advertisement, or they provide you with equipment all over the world. So that's basically why I've been with so many different companies, just trying to keep going.
And you've been doing this, so it means you give it.
It's part of the business.
Sergio says if they have a Dramio, they have a set of PV, a radial series kit. So okay, I will definitely check these things out.
Yeah, check them out. That's really a good sounding drum set. Okay, very strange looking.
What brands are you with now? We said PDP.
Yeah, PDP drums, Peisty cymbals, Remo drum heads, Vic Firth drumsticks. I have my own signature stick. Very important. Actually, I'm very lucky to have that, to be honest with you.
Are they still white coated?
Yeah, they're painted white, and they put your name on them. And actually, it's really crazy, because if you look in the Vic Firth catalog, they have all the signature artists. And when you open up the page, on one side of the page is Buddy Rich, and then on the other side of the page is Charlie Watts, and I'm there too.
Wow,
it is so weird to be with Buddy Rich and Charlie Watts. I mean, those guys are really famous.
Well, but they are famous because
it's just nice to be there.
Charlie is famous for the band, and you think Charlie Watts is famous because of the band, not only about the style.
He's actually a great drummer. I like. Now that I'm a bit older, I appreciate what he's doing. When I was younger, I didn't understand it, but I do now.
I like him too. Don't get me wrong. What I mean is, you've never been to a really, really, really super famous act, even if your level of drumming.
Yeah.
So maybe the only thing who was missing, I said you did it by yourself. What I mean is, like, you reached a higher level with your name alone than with the band you've been.
Okay, because I've never been in a band of the same magnitude as the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, or let's say not a super famous band, like it could be like Halloween, for example. Yeah. Maybe you could have done that, of course. So I think it's cool the way you manage it. You manage.
Thank you.
This is here from Brazil. Hi, Mike Terrana. Yeah. There's a guy who says he saw you at Florence. Let me read this comment for you. Okay. He says, Mike, you remember the clinic in Florence, Italy at Free Stroke? I was there with you, Andrea. I remember a very weird setup.
A Free Stroke drum school. Yes, that was nice.
Florence.
Yeah, I love Florence. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, I love it too. I have one question, Mike, about the future. You started doing this I won't stop the music hashtag. I found it really cool. I can see, like, even if you are like every musician, like everybody having not an easy time, it's not easy, but you always play with such smile, with such passion. I remember when I watch your videos, you make me like, this is cool. You bring positive energy. And what about this idea of I won't stop the music? Can you tell us?
The idea basically stems or is grown out of the fact that we have this pandemic situation, which has basically paralyzed the music industry, especially the live shows. So all the musicians are at home, everyone's waiting, and some people are kind of losing their enthusiasm for practicing, or maybe they're getting depressed. I even talk to a lot of people that are not musicians. They don't like to be isolated. As a musician, I enjoy to be isolated. We like to spend time alone with our instrument, but I think for a lot of people, they enjoy social activity, social interaction more than a musician, or an artist. So I decided to make something that I won't stop the music. In other words, this is a project that talks about motivating or to inspire and motivate people not to give up, not to get depressed, stay positive, take this time off to practice, take this time off to better yourself, whether you're training, doing some kind of exercise, learn to surf, ride a bike, spend time with your family, read a book, I don't know, do something, but use the time constructively. And this is what I'm trying to do. I mean, I am not happy to be off the road. I love to be on the road. It's a drug for me to play live. You know, it's probably the most beautiful thing in my life. But right now it's not possible because of this situation. So I thought, okay, why not do something to inspire people, to make them feel better? Some of these videos that I've been making lately, some people, I post them in the morning and some people write to me, thank you. You made my morning. I didn't feel like going to work, but I saw that it was funny or it was cool or I got a good energy from it. And I think that's what people need. People need. And actually, I also sometimes I'm not always the happiest, but I mean, it makes me happy to do this. I think I think of myself not only as a drummer, I think of myself as an entertainer. And I think now is the time to entertain people. They're all at home. Maybe they're not so happy. They have problems. Some people have kids to feed. You know, they might not have work. It's a difficult time for a lot of people, not just musicians. So I thought it would be nice to do something like this. And just, you know, I think I've read a lot of books on positive thinking when I was younger. And I think that the most important thing, the common line in all these books is you put out good energy and good energy comes back. I know it sounds very simple, but it's really not so easy to do.
No. In theory, yeah. But actually, that's why now I understand even more, because so when I see you playing, I always like you have the old school passion, you know, it's something like, it's not only about the playing itself, like the way you really hit the drums, the way your facial expressions when you're playing, the whole package, like it makes it work. That's a complete entertainment thing. And the way you say this, I really must say thank you for doing this, because you really, actually for me too, you made my day. I see all the videos every time you post them. I always like it. I think it's a good thing.
Coming from the 70s, I mean, even before I started playing drums, I remember listening to music and I remember being moved emotionally by the music. Okay. I remember the first time I saw a big band play, like a big band swing, a jazz band play. The drummer was so good. I think I was about 10 years old. It was so good that I cried. I wasn't sad. I was just, the music was moving me. The thing is about art, whether it's literature, painting, sculpture, music, you're touching people without actually touching them. So when I play the music, it's like a primal feeling that I have that's inside me and it comes out. I feel like I'm inside that music, even if it's, you know, if it's like, oh, you play Dua Lipa. Why? Dua Lipa. It's a good song. When I play that music, I feel it. I feel good. She's a good singer. She's a beautiful lady. She's one hell of a dancer. Why not? It's music. There's only good and bad music as far as I'm concerned. So what I do is I find my way inside these songs. You know, I probably, if Dua Lipa probably heard me play her song, she'd probably say, no, I don't like it. But it's my way of expressing myself in her music, and it makes me happy. The music is happy. I like it. It's a positive message. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really, as I said, the good thing about those videos, I know you are like in the center of Sardinia, recording. Actually, a friend of mine told me he saw your drums in a shop, and he entered to ask if they were selling it, and they were like, oh, these are MIKE TERRANA drums. I said, MIKE TERRANA, because you are very. Yeah, no, he knows it because he's a metal guy from Sardinia. Everybody knows you. So and also there have been like many rumors, like Mike Terrana is in Sardinia. Do you know? I said, yeah, it's true. So because a friend of mine said, okay, so there was not lies. Like some guy, yeah, Mike Terrana is here in my hometown, and they thought he was bullshitting them. It's true. So
it's pretty funny sometimes because I'm playing and there's people watching. They're looking in, you know, like what is going on in there? And it's like, I'm playing the drums. Keep going. No, I'm kidding. They can watch. It's weird.
Are you tracking every day? Like you post a new song every couple of days, or how?
I'm posting songs every day. I'm on a pretty tight schedule right now, so I'm enjoying it because before I was doing this, I was putting out videos, longer videos, and I was alone. I just had one camera, and now I'm working with a group of people here that are helping me to shoot the videos and manage the location, and it's a lot of fun. It's good work, you know. I like to do something, and of course, it's even better if people like what you're doing. If people like the song, if they laugh or they feel happy, then I've done my job.
Do you think this is bringing you something back besides the positive energy? Doing this every day, like people are. Do you think when this will be finished, you will be working more, or this is useful? So, for example, when
you never know. One thing leads to another in this business, but I can tell you something. I've played a lot of heavy metal, but I've listened to all kinds of music. I mean, I love bossa nova music. When I was a kid, I was listening to Frank Sinatra, a lot of pop music, like the Carpenters. Remember Karen Carpenter? She played drums. My parents had a record called by Steve and Edie Gourmet. They were a husband and wife singing duo. They were kind of like in the Frank Sinatra style. I used to play drums to this. I loved that record. Beatles. I love the Beatles. I love good music, good melodies. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm studying this music. I'm playing it. I'm recording it. I'm performing. It's making me better. I'm learning from this. I'm learning by doing this. So it's kind of practice. And also I'm making a product and I'm keeping myself out there so that people don't forget about Mike Terrana. That would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? People forget about me. It's all about me. But yeah, it's better than doing nothing. Better than drinking beer all day.
That's true. I can remember each show I saw with Mike Terrana. From 2004 God of Metal to Music Masquerade. Very impressive drumming, powerful and also funny. Love double bass licks and stick tricks too. Back Musica says, incrível ele. Estivemos na organização quando ele veio na freguesia do O, juntamente com Manhas e outras escolas da região. Do you understand Portuguese, right?
No.
Okay. So they said it's pretty you're an unbelievable drummer, that they worked with you when you came to Freguesia do O in São Paulo. You were with Fabiano Manhas e another drum school.
I see. Okay. Muito obrigado.
Perfect. So he said, say thanks to Mike because it's because of artists like him that a lot of people go and enjoy life. Yeah, that's true. You're making people enjoy life. So wow, that's a lot of good things. What a nice guy. Thanks, Raphael and Mike for Mike Terrana is a nice guy. Not many people know that because you see the videos, he's fucking smashing the drums, but super a nice guy. And really, I see you are really happy, and it really makes me happy to see you are enjoying your time here. That's so cool.
You know what? I mean, really, if you're not having fun, then you're doing it wrong. I mean, it's so easy to find something negative, you know, but why look for that? I'm always looking to the light. I like to surround myself with good people, good music, good food. You only live once. It's a one-way ticket, you know, so every day enjoy it any way you can. I mean, of course we have our downtime. Me too. I'm not a nice guy all the time. Sometimes I can be evil, but I think it's funny when I was playing all this heavy metal stuff, I was like, oh man, Mike Terrana, he must be like a really, really tough, evil guy, but I'm really not, you know. Over here, we have a lot of wild cats. Do you like cats?
Yes.
Well, I'm spending my time feeding the cats in the morning, They come around, I'm making my coffee, and all the cats come around. I talk to them. Some of them let me pet them. They're wild, you know. But it's really nice just to be around nature, to be around good people, make good music. That's what it's about, man.
Do you have any plans? Of course, can you tell us about your plans when this will be over? Like, what do you want to do? You have any? I don't know. We want to do solo touring again? Any?
Well, Rafa, this might come as a great shock to you. I want to be president of the United States.
I will vote for you. I will.
You might be the only one. No, I mean, I want to go back out on the road. I want to go back out and play music. Avalanche. I just had a conversation with the boys from the band. They're from Spain, and they're going to do a new record. Sorry?
I saw you were playing with them. I saw with an Italian band. So you were really switching many bands.
Yeah, I hope to get back out on the road with Avalanche because they sing in Spanish and in English. But when we tour Latin America, the Spanish Latin audience is just wild. Yeah. Really a lot of fun. They're hot. That's a hot audience. And I just love Latin America. I love Brazil. I love playing in Brazil. I love playing in Mexico, Argentina.
I love Mexico. People say Mexico. People said, yeah, Mexico is going to be weird. I love Mexico when I play there.
Mexico is awesome, man. Mexico City, Guadalajara, it's fantastic.
Exactly.
Good food, good people.
Exactly. Have you ever thought about living in Brazil?
Sorry?
Have you ever thought about living in Brazil?
Actually, I did. You know, when I was in Florianopolis, I was actually thinking about looking for a place to live there because I really like Floripa. You call it Floripa, right? The sea is beautiful, and it's a really calm area. It's cheap. Really, I remember sitting on the beach, and there was people walk by. They're really friendly. You can order food from them or get some caipirinha. I'll tell you another great place, Cuba. Have you ever been to Havana?
No.
You're good. Man, this is a good place. The people are cool. I had a great time there. We did one show there, but we had 7 days off and really enjoyed my time in Cuba. For an American, you know, to go to all these communist countries, it's really nice. I never thought I'd go to Russia. I mean, I've been all over Russia. I have a lot of friends there. I love playing in Russia, too. The Russian audience is very cool.
But you're not a typical American.
Sorry?
You're not a typical American. The way you are Italo-American, I can really see that you are not a typical American guy.
No, I'm not, actually. I mean, I've kind of... I don't want to say anything bad, negative. Don't take this. I don't want my American colleagues to take this the wrong way. But if you live in America, you're kind of living in a bubble. You know, you think that everyone wants to come to America. This is the best place. It's a good place to live. Of course, I would not be who I am right now if I didn't grow up in the American system in the 60s and 70s. However, there's a lot of beautiful places in the world to live. I mean, I've been all over Asia, Thailand, Philippines. There's a lot of great places in Russia, in Eastern Europe, Prague, Czech Republic. Fantastic. There's a lot of great things. I like playing in Poland. I have a lot of friends there in Eastern Europe. Scandinavia is a fantastic place. All of Europe is beautiful. France, Spain.
You've been everywhere. You perform everywhere. It's so cool from you.
I'm a world citizen.
Yeah, you are. I remember you did everything. So I have two more questions, and I will let you go to sleep because I guess you wake up early in the morning or not. Are you still a night cat or not?
I don't have to wake up early in the morning. I'm a rock star.
Yeah, that's true.
I wake up when I want.
What time do you wake up? No, I'm sure you don't because you have.
Well, I don't want to. How old are you, Rafa?
37. 38, sorry.
38, okay, 38. You're going to notice when you start getting into your late 40s and 50s, you're going to start waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning for no reason whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning and start looking around, have a coffee. You just wake up early. But I also I don't sleep that much. Maybe I sleep about 5 hours.
Okay, okay. So you're still like you're just sleeping less than before. I have a question about practicing. You said you learned to practice. You are still practicing, and actually, as I said, you are still improving. I just when I saw you the music mess couple of years ago, I was like, "Fuck." I mean, I know the guy, but every time I saw him playing, it's really I like him even more. You know, because I believe you really found it's you. Yeah, you're one of the drummers. When I see you, like I just see the kid. It's 1 second, it's you. So you have this, and you played so good, so tight. So how do you practice? What did you discover about practice and teaching yourself?
Well, I have certain like go-to exercises that I have to keep my double bass chops going. I mean, I'm maxing out double bass speed at about 180. There's guys, how fast are guys playing now? 300 BPM?
Yeah, but they will not keep it for like 5 years.
Okay. For me, 180. I try to stay at 180.
I mean,
it keeps me in shape, you know, but it's fun. But I don't think I'm going to go much faster than that. But I'll tell you what, I befriended Don Lombardi from DW Drums because after last year when Neil Peart died, I was really, really sad because I saw Neil Peart from Rush play in a bar in 1977, the Caress of Steel tour. So that was, I felt when Neil Peart died, I felt like a part of me died also. It was so sad because he's such a legendary drummer. He's such an intelligent man. He wrote a lot of books. His lyrics are beautiful. He was an integral part of that band. I loved Rush. I thought they were so unique and expressive. And I had sent a cover version. I did a cover version of 2112 during the quarantine. And I learned every note that Neil Peart played. And I have to tell you, it was very challenging because his style is totally different than mine, even though I'm very inspired by Neil Peart. Anyway, I sent this to Don Lombardi, who is the president of DW Drums. And he also has something called the Drum Channel. I'm like Dr. Evil, the Drum Channel. So Don was so kind. He said, "Hey, Mike, you know, I have a lot of interviews with Neil Peart because he used to play DW Drums and he used to come down to the factory all the time. He gave me a free membership to the Drum Channel." So I watch all the Neil Peart interviews and stuff, but I discovered something on the Drum Channel. Greg Bissonette has a jazz course on how to play jazz. And I went through this beginner jazz course, and it's really a lot of fun. He really breaks down the basics of playing jazz, and it's made me a better drummer because of the interdependence and the finesse that you have to have. So I'm practicing stuff that normally I would not play with a metal band or whatever. I think that's making me more musical. Long answer, sorry.
You go no, it's okay. So you go there and like every day you have like a goal. Okay, I will learn this, I will do this.
There's a bunch of videos there. You just go through the videos. I watch the video, then I put it up on my stand and I start to play the certain exercises. And then eventually you remember the exercises and you just play them. Also, Terry Bozzio has a lot of exercises there. Wow. Terry Bozzio I have no words. He's one of my idols. He's gone so deep into the study of rhythm that it's scary. I mean, really, I have a lot of respect for Terry Bozzio because he's really spent most of his waking hours studying rhythm in great detail, polyrhythms, rhythms, independence. It's incredible. Really.
I lost it because I like him the old era. Now sometimes it goes so deep. You're right. I kind of really wow.
Yeah, but you know what? I saw Terry Bozzio play with Missing Persons. Do you know this band? It was a new wave band.
Yeah, but
I saw this in 1981. His drums were in the front of the stage.
Wow.
I can tell you, I was standing in the front and there was a bunch of my friends. This was back in Buffalo, New York in 1981 at a club called the Inferno, the big club. And when I saw his drums in the front of the stage, I said, okay, normally I stay in the back and watch a show, but I said, no, I go to the front. And there was a bunch of guys standing around me. They were not drummers, But when he started to play, everybody's eyes were just like, what is this? Really, it was new information. He was playing the Rototom kit.
Okay, cool.
Terry Bozzio was a genius. I can't say enough fantastic things. I also know Terry Bozzio's son.
Yeah, he's
too. Yeah. Incredible. But Terry is he's magic. I think he should get some kind of Hall of Fame notoriety. He's really an amazing. I love his Jeff Beck as well. It was very cool.
He will. I have a question for you, Mike. Right now, are you also teaching back there? Do some master? Can you do something like you're a performer, as you said, and a clinician. But right now, are you like teaching or doing something like that, one-to-one to people? So
well, I do teach. I mean, I do enjoy it. I think I have one student right now, and he just wants to learn rudiments. So we do a lot of rudimental stuff. But I would be open to teaching. Maybe more of that will happen once I get my studio happening. But yeah, why not? I mean, I'm writing a book at the moment. It's kind of a double bass book. It's not a blast beat thing. Don't get me wrong. And I have nothing against blast beats. I have a lot of respect for the guys that play that music. I have a lot of friends that play that music. George Callias, for example, these guys are just crazy. I don't know how they do it, but I appreciate it. But it's not my thing, you know. So I'm writing a book about kind of my techniques, and I don't think it'll be complicated for guys to read. It's basic exercises. I think it's something for younger people as well. I go to China every year for 1 month. I have a lot of great friends in China, and I do a lot of teaching when I'm out there as well. And I learned a lot from teaching very young kids. It's incredible how much you learn from teaching a young person. Because as drummers, as older guy, we take everything for granted, right? But you really have to break everything down and kind of spoon feed it to these little guys, but they get it. So yeah, I would be open to teaching, doing more of that. It's not really my thing, but why not?
Okay, cool to know. Since we're in the same island.
If somebody's interested.
Yeah, we'll talk about it offline. So one final thing I want to ask you: how do you see yourself in a couple of years? Tell me more. You see you still playing metal, playing something different. You said you're learning jazz. So what should we expect from you? Like another Frank Sinatra cover? I think it's great, actually, the way you do it. I think
I sing for a joke. You know, I just do it for fun. But I have a project, my newest thing that I'm doing. I'm singing and playing drums, and I think basically that's the future for me. I want to do a solo project where I'm bringing the drums to the front. I'll be singing, communicating with the audience, and I think the music is cool. I'm writing music. I'm writing the lyrics, and it's a lot of fun. So this is something that I would like to try in the future. There's already one video out. I have a song called "I Love the Night." It's on my.
I saw it. Cool.
It's more along the lines of that kind of electronic heavy rock or whatever. Something new. I'm always looking forward. You know, I mean, I love Deep Purple. I love Led Zeppelin, but I mean, that's been done. It's been done very well. So why should I try to repeat that? That's not going to take me anywhere. I want to go forward and try something different. And it's not easy to sing and play drums. It's quite challenging.
I know. There are a couple of guys who do this. I don't know if you know a guy called Josh Dion or Dion. Josh Dion sings and plays drums. I don't know if you know the guy. I will send you the link.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll send it to you. If you never heard it. And he also played the keyboard. You see that?
Oh yeah, I see this guy. I've seen this guy. Yeah, he's quite good. He's very, very talented.
Unbelievable.
I think one of the best singing drummers I've ever seen was Don Henley from the Eagles.
Wow, of course.
He sings just about every song.
Yeah.
And his voice, he's got a beautiful, and also Phil Collins.
Yeah, but he's probably the best. I mean,
but it's not easy. It's not easy to. You got to remember when these guys were singing in the 70s, they didn't have in-ear monitors. They had these wedges, and you're hitting the drums, and you have to hear your voice, and harmonize, that's not easy.
No, absolutely not.
My head goes up.
You're a guy who you did a great work with your monitoring. You're always improving your monitoring, because when you have like your own monitoring system, I know you have your Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Your Zoom and the kick drums also.
Well, I modified it even more. Now I mic my own drums, and I have my own custom in-ears here, and I mix everything. I don't talk to the monitor engineer anymore. It's not worth it. It's a lot of stress.
Can I ask you what you have? Like, you have a digital mixer, something like that?
Yeah, I'm using an interface, a digital interface by Behringer. It's an X18.
Okay.
It's relatively cheap now, but I mean, it's portable. I use it for recording, and I use it for touring as well. It's very cool.
Okay, so you split all the channels. So one goes to the board. Okay.
Yeah, I control everything. And this, normally when you're doing especially on a festival, you're trying to play and you're like, hey, can you give me more?
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
And the guys, having a cigarette or whatever, or 10 other people are yelling at them. Really, the technology exists now where you don't have to do that. So why do it? And actually, a lot of times I'm doing a gig and the monitor guy comes over and he goes, what do you need? And I said, I don't need anything. He's like, that's cool. I'm going to go have a cigarette.
You take like the guitar channel and everything. You split everything basically.
Yeah, it works. I mean, the technology is here now where you can control your own mix. You can EQ everything the way you want it. It's in your ears. You don't have to talk to anybody, and it's digital. So it memorizes the mix. It memorizes the scene. So it never really changes. It doesn't change. You don't have to sound check.
When we will see, I'll definitely ask you about it. I'm really sure.
I can show you. It's really a good way to save your ears, to save time, and it's not stressful when you're working, because a lot of times maybe you don't have time to do a good sound check. It's just like, okay, I do everything in. I do a line check. Everything's working. Okay, let's play.
Wow.
It sounds the same. Yeah, it saves a lot of time and stress for sure.
So to all the guys in Sardinia, Mike is teaching, and I will definitely get in touch with Mike. This is one of my favorite drummers, and I'm so happy to know you are teaching. Actually, the first good news about the pandemic is that you are teaching, so we can learn from you, and I will get in touch with you. So, okay. Mike, I really wanted to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rob.
That you are a living legend and a working guy, a nice guy, and one of the most iconic drummers in the metal scene. And I really respect. So thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see soon.
Thank you.
To all the guys, and Mike, grazie for everything. Take care and see you very, very soon. Thank you for your time. I will put all the links about your stuff on YouTube page, and we'll stay in touch.
Thanks, Raphael.
Thank you very much. You're a cool guy, and I hope you enjoy Sardinia. Benvenuto in Sardegna.
Prego.
So,
grazie.
And see you next time. Bye bye.
Okay. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.